classes. The first one is storytelling. So students learn about screenwriting, and they also do a short personal documentary. And then in the next class, cinematic process, they pitch the scripts that they wrote in the first one, and then working in groups of 4, they make short films. So we're on the quarter system, so we have a 10-week quarter. And so what I initially do is start them by having them write about like a personal experience, like a narrative about a personal experience that was really important in their lives that led to a change. And then they use that, not knowing that they're going to, but then they use that and then they fictionalize it and they use that for their first screenplay. So we kind of start with the personal and kind of like digging out from the personal to like create fiction from that, with the idea that if you connect to it through your own emotions and feelings, that you can write about it in a way that others might connect to. But then in the second week, we kind of talk about form and structure and all of that. And so then I introduced 3-act structure with the idea that they should at least understand it before they can sort of start playing with it if they so choose. So that's what this is that I'm gonna do right now. And this is a group project. And so what I start by doing, I want to also preface by saying that since we're not a film school, a lot of them have not seen kind of the classic films that you'd see in like a film studies or group of film studies classes. So I give them the script of The Godfather, and then they have the option of reading Thelma and Louise and The Graduate. It's sort of like the basis for this lecture. And so I provide all those scripts. And then let me see how I share my screen. How do I share my share?
Yeah, there should be a share option that you can.
Yeah.
You can click. I'll just let everybody know as well that I've started recording the session, just to let you know.
Okay. It says allow teams to see your screen, and then I get not now, and then I'm not allowed to click entire screen. Let's see if it lets me. Okay, now it's gonna let me. Okay. So do y'all see yourselves?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So then I'm just gonna I won't do the whole presentation or anything like that, but I'm just gonna kind of show you kind of the basis of what I do. So yeah, so I kind of go through what it is, and then using The Godfather first, and then so sort of beginning with the propitious events, and then the inciting incident. And
Randy, I'll just interrupt. So we can see like I'm assuming I can see what everyone else can see. It's like a freeze frame of your desktop.
Oh, so you're not seeing
images.
Yeah.
So you're not seeing my my PowerPoint?
No.
I wonder why that is. All right, let me unshare. Let's see. Structure. That's what I want to share.
Sometimes I've noticed that the screen sharing, you have to like reset that you're allowing other people to see. Sorry. Sorry.
I could invite you all on Zoom instead, and we could just do it from mine. If that's easier.
We could do that. I think there's usually an option to share a file.
Yeah. PowerPoint, just PowerPoint, nothing else than PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me try that then. Just fine.
We can decamp to Zoom if we have to.
Okay.
That can be plan B.
Gosh, I wonder what you guys are seeing on my screen, my very messy screen.
It's like a frozen image of our webcams.
Oh, got it.
At the moment.
All right, so I'm going to see now how I would share this file though. So I'm going to do stop.
Do you have a, do you see the share button at the top of the screen?
Yes, it says share and then it says share contact. Oh,
So-
hey, it's letting me do that. Okay, let's see.
If I click on the share option and then
That's
scroll down, there's a browse computer option, and then you can pick a file.
Browse computer. Oh, yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So.
The suspense builds.
Sorry. Okay, here it is. You
Is it coming?
should have it.
Is it coming?
It's coming.
Nothing yet.
That's direct structure.
Mm.
There it is. PowerPoint Live, preparing your slides.
Oh, it's coming.
You see something? Okay. So
It's
do
loading.
you see it?
It's almost there. It's loading, I think. It is for me anyway.
I can see it on my screen.
Okay. The
I got it.
Godfather.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see it. I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Full
So we
steam
go
ahead.
through this kind of the Godfather. I wasn't going to do this part, but okay. So 3x. Now you guys see that, and the who, what. Are you scrolling through it as I do? Are you able to see it or no?
Yes,
So-
we're
Yes.
scrolling through.
Yeah,
we see what
scrolling
we
through.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like the examples of the propitious events, then we see graduate, and then I ask them questions as we're going through all this. Like, you know, I'll be like, what do you think the inciting incident is for each one? And then they'll say, and then we'll talk about why and stuff like that. And then so yeah. And that's the end of that. And then after I finish that, then I share with them a whole bunch of newspaper clippings. Typically, I bring them in, like I've got a file and I bring them in. But I do have them online too, from when mostly COVID, and then occasionally I just work with it online. So I was going to share that too. I have a Google Drive, so I'll give you guys the link. So and then we can break into groups. So let me just find that folder so I can share the link. Share, copy link. So I'm going to go back to now I don't know where you guys are. Let's see.
We're on the very last slide.
Right. No, I'm just how do I get, oh, maybe this is how do I get back to Teams where you are. Ah, hello again. All right, so I'm going to now share how do I just find a link to share so that you guys can all see my newspaper?
If you want to share a link for us to look at, you can just put it in the chat.
In the chat. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to put that in the chat, and then you should be able to link up to all the newspaper articles that I have. And then while you're looking at that, I'm going to find the actual assignment. I wonder how I can do that without. Well, I'll just read the assignment, and that'll just. So using one of the provided newspaper articles as inspiration, create a story for a feature film. Please include the following. So a treatment detailing how your script will unfold in acts 1, 2, and 3. And then I remind them what what the components of each act are. And then I also asked for character descriptions, 1 paragraph description of each of the main characters. And then projects will be graded on defining acts 1, 2, and 3 of a feature film, not a short film. It's very often like students will just have enough that's like not really a feature, but more like a short. Storytelling that helps us connect to your characters, short description of each main character, collaboration and teamwork, and then presentation to the class, including visuals. And so then they present these to the class. And so I think it'd be great if, are you guys able to access the different newspaper articles from that Google Drive link? Yeah. So how about if we spend the next, how long, Chris? Like 20 minutes or so?
Yeah, 20 minutes.
I know it wouldn't be enough time, but it'd be enough time to sort of like brainstorm ideas and using the articles, read through, figure out which articles. And what I typically say to them is like, you can't just take the articles and like literally turn those into a film, because that would require rights and things like that. So it really would be just using them as inspiration, and then you can change the characters, change the location. You can even take more than one, put them together, have fun with it, and start brainstorming. And it's what's really fascinating when I do students is this is in the second week of class, so they don't really know each other, and they end up really bonding and really having fun, sort of coming up with ideas, laughing, you know, putting it all together. So it's kind of fun. And then they get 2 class periods to work on this, or like 1.5 kind of thing. So I know this is a lot shorter than that, but yeah.
So create an outline for a whole feature.
Yeah, it's create an outline for a feature. So you're going to look at these newspaper stories, come up with ideas, putting together an outline of the, how the story would unfold. What would be your opening, your propitious event, your first, your inciting incident, etc., from first act, second act, and third act, and also coming up with characters, like who are your characters, and then they do a visual presentation, which I'm going to figure out how I can share an example of that. But I'll let you guys work on it first, and then we can do that. So how many people are here? I can't view all. Let me just see.
I think we've got 11 altogether.
11. So how about if we do groups of 3 and 4? So we can do 3 groups of 3. So sorry, I'm kind of nervous, so I can't add.
You're doing good.
So I'm going to just do, let's do Ashish, Deborah, and Donald are one group. Joanne, Laura, and Chris are another group. And then our last group will be Rex, Sharon, Susie, and I'm not sure.
Vicky with a Greek name.
Vicky, thank you. All right, you guys, have fun. And
So,
I guess I can join one of the groups too if you want. Or
yeah, go for it. Are you able to assign the breakout rooms? Do you have that option?
You do that,
available to
Chris,
you?
from where you are, or do I?
I can do that.
I'm just not familiar with this. I always work with Zoom, so if you
I can do that, but you will have to tell me the groups
okay
again, because I was not noting that down.
Okay, so we've got Ashish,
Yeah.
Deborah, and Donald are our group 1.
Ashish, Deborah, and Donald. Okay.
And I guess I'll join you guys since you're a small group. And
Right.
then Joanne, Laura, Chris
Mm-hmm.
are group 2.
Yep.
And then Abano, I'm sorry, Rex. Rex, sorry. Hey Rex, I'm sorry, I remember meeting you. Yeah, Sharon and Susie and Nikki are our group, next group.
Okay. I'm on it. Give me
All
a
right,
sec.
yeah, thanks
And
for your assistance. I appreciate it.
I will assign 2 breakout rooms. Hold on. Okay, I think we're almost assigned. Should be assigning now. Oh, hold on. Almost now. We're a man down, so I'm just going to change. I'm going to move Shirin into group 2.
Okay,
So it'll work. There we go.
that's good. Then we all have groups of 3.
Okay, I think it should be filtering people into the rooms now. It tells me it's doing that.
Oh, we're back to the main room.
Yes, I've booted
Okay.
people out.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we going back? Soon after mating, between age 4 and 7, in some cases immediately after sex.
So I have unceremoniously booted people out of the breakout
That
room
wasn't nice, Chris.
because I didn't know how to give like an entire group 5-minute warning. So I just let it go for 20 minutes and then I have unceremoniously kicked everybody. There we go. Well, that was great for our group. I don't know about everybody else.
Same here.
But I'll hand back to Randy if you want to sort of
Well, I'd love to
Thank-
hear like some of the stories that you guys came up with. Like, let's take 5 minutes to like just talk about the process of it, the stories, what worked for you, what was challenging. I mean, obviously you'd have more time than the class setting, but so hi Laura. Why don't you tell us what you thought?
I loved it. I'm sorry, I can't see Randy. Can anybody else see Randy?
I can't see Randy either, actually. I can see Randy's name, but not her camera.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see all you guys. That's so weird.
Mhm.
Wonder why.
It looks like your camera's off.
Oh, I put it on. Let me see. And you can't turn on. So it's weird. I see me. And there's
You
these
see
three-
you. That's
Yes.
so interesting.
Yeah,
And there
no,
are 3 dots next to me. What about you guys in the breakout room? Could you not see me either?
We had in our group, Alex was who I could see him when he was in here, but once we got into breakout room, we could hear him, but we couldn't see him for no apparent reason. So I think it's just a weird Teams thing.
It
yeah,
says turn
Teams
camera on. Shift. Wait. Turn.
Teams does get a little bit
Shift.
weird.
Oh, let me see if that works. Command Shift. Oh, do you see me now?
Nope. But we can hear you. We can
Okay.
hear you good.
I don't understand it.
Okay. Well,
Maybe.
we love you. So we had the best time. I think the hardest thing for me is like, well, now we're not actually going to go write this thing. I'm so disappointed.
I know.
So we did a mashup of a couple of different newspaper articles and also some other things that we, kind of knew from the world. And so what we came up with was a war-torn, actually a war traumatized, a PTSD traumatized war photographer. She's a woman as opposed to the man from the picture, right? So she's been, she's come home after having been kept a prisoner for 6 months, and she is trying to reconnect with her husband and son. Her husband's a naturalist, maybe even a park ranger, which we hadn't said, but that would make total sense given what we've got. And her PTSD symptoms are definitely keeping her away from being able to genuinely connect with her family. It's called In Plain Sight, by the way. And so she and her son go off on a horseback riding adventure just through the park, right? But it's a big, massive nature, a very wild area. And while on this horseback riding trip, they encounter a man and a teenage girl, and she instantly gets chills. She knows something is wrong, and she overreacts because of her PTSD. And then, she kind of, it's fun. The guy's like, lady, I don't know kind of what's wrong with you. And her son, she has to kind of handle her son being there, and she ends up apologizing and just, figuring it's the PTSD. She has amnesia. She can't remember a lot of the things that happened to her. And then as the man and the teenage girl turn to go, the girl catches her son's eyes and manages to do this signal that's a sort of signal that's become widely known through TikTok of "help me." And the guy just thinks she's waving goodbye, and she's really signaling, help me. And the boy picks up on it. And so the threshold moment is then their decision. Are they going to go back home, or imperfect as they are they going to try to find these people as they disappear into the woods, go after them? And that's the decision they make to try to save the girl. There's going to be parallel stories of something, what actually happened to her in Afghanistan. There's going to be a parallel story of her husband who, when they don't come back, starts to look at the pictures that she had sent before they lost signal and discover that they have encountered this guy who didn't just kidnap the girl, but actually massacred the entire family to kidnap the girl. And he's going to come after them. And then ultimately her journey, the photographer's journey, reconnect with her son, but then also she really wants to save the girl from having the same experience that she did, because what she's going to remember is not just that she was held prisoner, but how she escaped was to murder somebody. She killed somebody, and that's part of the trauma she's living with. And in that, she fails. They do save the girl, but they don't save the girl from killing the man. And so the trauma continues. But there's a sense of completion. How'd I do, guys? I think that's pretty much what,
That's good.
Anybody?
I thought Joanne put it into a nice little tagline.
Yeah, Joanne's a great log line.
Well, I basically just thought, traumatized war photographer home tries to go on a vacation with her son through the mountains, and he picks up on this signal, and they have to decide to go and try and help the girl, while also knowing that they are supposed to be leaving the trip. So they go on they continue their horseback to try to help her. I always feel like it should be not as much as everyone says you should write, but that's kind of where we sort of took it.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go. Clear blockbuster.
I would love to hear it. So what did you guys come up with, the next group?
Shall I go?
Sure.
Yeah, we lost one member of our group, but we came up with a comedy horror, which was based on the story of this wife who's got all these kids, and she talks to the agony aunt, writes to her about her husband. Every year has this amazing time in what we interpreted as Burning Man, and she comes home and that's quite a stressful, a nice sort of relationship sort of element to bring into this horror. And she the defining moment for her is where the agony aunt basically says, well, as long as he's behaving himself, there is okay. But he proposed to her at Burning Man years before she got into kids. She's also an expert in spiders and has a pet tarantula, which he hates, and she thinks he's a wimp. So she doesn't really respect him. He doesn't really know much about what she does. He's an artist, he's a musician, a writer, and he wants to go to Burning Man every year to relive that. But she's kind of left it behind with all these children that they've had. So there's a lot of resentment there. So she makes a decision she's going to divorce him, but she's going to tell him at Burning Man, because that's what he proposed. So she's going to follow him there. And her parents turn up, and she hasn't seen them for years. They finally made it over from Canada, and she's like, hi, here's the kids, get to know them. And she's out of there. She goes off to the festival, and it's a lot more raucous and outrageous than she remembers. And with the audience as well as her are thinking, this guy's he's up to no good here. But actually, we gradually see that he's really is a decent guy. He's just having a really nice time for that week in that environment. Meanwhile, there's the other report was the tarantula one. And so it's been a particularly warm climate. There's been a massive explosion of tarantulas, and they have arrived at this festival, and we envisaged this sort of tent with all these bodies lounging in a sort of state of comatose ecstasy, having drunk from this very dodgy cauldron of something created by some sort of basic witch doctor. And the tarantulas also consume some of this, so they become, I guess, kind of mutant tarantulas. And you know, black widows get under this, lay eggs and get under the skin, and it grows as a big lump, and you have to wait. Well, this is happening, but on a tarantula scale. And then when they come out, they are able to, they're actually really poisonous, because normally apparently they're not that bad, but they are really, really dangerous. So there's genuine jeopardy here. And that's her expertise, and she's there. And so her conflict is, you know, does she just think of this as sort of bedlam and they all deserve what they get, or does she actually try to help? And meanwhile, with the relationship, it's him learning to respect her because she really knows her stuff. And at the same time, he is, she's basically, by the end of the film, she does, of course, save the day, and their relationship is at least resolved in that they understand more about each other, and they have a certain level of respect that wasn't there before. That's as far as we got.
Very nice.
Have I missed anything, teammate? Staying on mute. No, there you.
I'm not sure, but can you hear me? I'm not sure if you can hear me or see me.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear you, but not you.
I think that was it. Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, that's my happy place. A comedy horror, like, well, I'm there. I would watch that.
I think what I loved about the prompts, I mean, we didn't open all of them. But we sort of each randomly opened one and then sort of read it out, and then we did it on the basis of those 4. But they were all very different. And what I liked was the kind of the weaving together of them. The fact that we're all so different, but they all had like something interesting that was a little food for thought. And I could see the potential for, like, the tarantulas were definitely comedic, I felt. And even though, of course, it would be really serious, but there were things that you could work into different kinds of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you.
Tarantulas too. Deborah, do you want to tell our idea real quick before?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize there was a third.
That's okay.
Yeah, well, we didn't get as far as some of you got with your stories, but ours is an animation about the tarantulas, and we only looked at the 2 articles on the tarantulas. We liked the one about the husband going off to the festivals as well, but we weren't clever enough or fast enough to weave it into our tarantula story. But our tarantula story has a premise that Gwen, we think is our protagonist, but then it might become Larry, the other tarantula. Gwen's under pressure by society to have it off with Larry, but then he'll die, and Gwen's in love with Larry, so she doesn't want to have it off with Larry. And Larry's in love with Gwen, but he feels rejected because he can't have sex with her because she's trying to stop him from having sex because she knows it's a death. In trying to make him love Gwen, Miranda falls in love with Larry. Miranda is the Miranda Priestley of tarantulas. She's the one that declares that they have to have, all these men have to go, but except for Larry. She's fallen in love with Larry and doesn't want him to die. So Gwen and Larry decide to escape to the city, and Gwen gets captured by a nerdy boy called Quentin. And Larry needs to save Gwen, and this may lead to his own death. But then they decide, then we're in a bit of a dilemma. Is this a tragedy like Romeo and Juliet, where one fakes a death and then the other has to die? Or is it a comedy where they live happily ever after? And the problem with that is, if they live happily ever after, do they never have sex and they just have to watch porn tarantula? Or do they have sex and everything's fine? So that's something we haven't quite conquered. But the catch is that they can't have sex because Larry's going to die and Miranda's in love with Larry. So Gwen finally realizes she's in love with Larry, and they hatch an escape where they could have a happy end. As I said, we don't know what the happy end is at this point. Any suggestions most welcome. Would that be right, Donald and Randy?
We also have a nerdy kid who doesn't have any friends, is always picked on, who collects tarantulas, and he captures them thinking that he's saving them, but separated by that. So anyway, we had fun.
We had fun.
Yeah, I've actually never done this. I've taught it so many times, but I've never actually done it myself. So this was kind of fun because we all agreed we could just spend all day creating this Pixar.
Yeah.
Yeah, us too, I think. Yeah, very fun exercise.
Cool. I'm glad. Yes, Susie.
Yeah, I just wanted to reflect that one of the most interesting parts of the whole process is that it makes you think about structure, and that,
Yes.
but you're actually kind of living the structure. So even if someone wasn't like clear on inciting an incident and climax and everything, they would have to start thinking in that way in order to provide a story that wasn't just completely, or have something they could then re-engineer and understand it. So I can see it's a really good teaching tool as well as being great fun.
Cool. That's nice.
Yeah. I think I really like that all of the ones that our group talked about, the war photographer and the people on horseback and the missing person, there's a nice inciting incident in each one. So it's a really nice jumping off point to then letting go, okay, nicely limits your options. There you go, that's the start. Where can it go from there?
I thought it was really interesting how much sort of deep stuff you can find in 20 minutes, right? 'Cause we
Yeah.
were talking themes, we were talking, right, like little things that we would put in and
The psychology of trauma.
psychology, all the stuff. That was great. Thank you, Randy. This is a really fun and useful exercise. I liked it a lot.
Very fun.
I'm so glad. I'm actually developing a screenplay from that Dear Abby that you guys picked, and I didn't mean to include it. It was on from like COVID, and I sort of thought I pulled it out, but yeah, I just I think it's a great premise for a story. Yeah, especially Burning Man and yeah, relationships.
Which premise was that, Randy?
About the guy who goes off every year with his best buddies to a music festival, and it's kind of what happens at the festival stays at the festival, and the wife is stuck at home with the kids. Yeah,
Very good.
That's,
it
sounds good.
Yeah, called Burning Love.
It's
Good title.
a good title. Yeah.
Well, I guess I should wrap up the session
Yes.
unless
I'm
anyone else
sorry,
has another.
I actually have to run out now because I'm late for another one.
Yeah.
But Randy,
There you
thank you
go.
so much.
So
Yeah,
Chris,
thank
thank you for putting this together. It was so terrific.
Yeah,
You're
it was
welcome.
really fun to meet you all.
Thank you very much for coming, everybody. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I-
much.
One last thing. I am going to be doing a session in Olomouc, a creative play session in Olomouc at the conference, and I've got 2 people who have volunteered to present creative exercises, but I'd like one more. I'd like to get 3 people, and it could be me, but I'd rather have somebody else. So if anyone fancies doing that, shoot me an email, and I'll
I'm not sure if I'm going yet, but yeah.
Well, the part of my thinking was that also my university were unsure about funding it, but I think if you're involved in a couple of different things, then it might be you might be more likely to get funding. So, and in fact, if a few people need that, I could always just get like 6 presenters and say, hey, they're all doing it. Fund the trip.
So you have a session.
So let me know if anyone's interested.
That's awesome.
Shoot me an email.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Well, thanks so much. It was really, really fun.
And thanks
Yeah,
for
lots of fun.
continuing to organize us, Chris. This is really
Yeah.
cool.
Yes, thank
You're
you.
welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Chris.
Ryan.
Bye.
All
See you.
right.
Bye. Nice to meet you all.
Bye.
care. Bye.
Bye. Nice to see you, Rex. Oh, he's gone.